Morning, Grant. I'm ready to start up right now.
Good morning.
Um,
Just letting you know I'll have to head off around 8:50 today.
okay, not a problem. Um, can you tell me, can you see on the screen the message about the email I sent today?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let me start. I think I'm taping. And I am. Okay, today is Monday, the 26th of September, and what I'm going to do today is to go over three of the assigned lab problems. All right. Tomorrow we will go over the Chapter 8 pretest, and I'm going to give you time to work on it tomorrow. So right at 9:30, I'm going to start lecturing tomorrow. So I will be online, but I won't be taping and I won't be in Teams until 9:30. Wednesday will be your hands-on test 4. On Thursday, I don't know if we can get through all three of these chapters in one day or not, but in an ideal world, at least we would. And then Friday will be our lab, as it always is, and no taping will be done. Again, your Chapter 8 written tests, labs, and homeworks are due next Sunday, the one coming up, which is October 2nd. All right, so with that said, I'm going to change my share and immediately show you here. I'm going to get right into Visual Studio. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do three of these problems. These are the three I picked out rather. I'm not saying they're the best or they're not. The first one is LB4. As it says there, write a GUI app that calculates delivery charges to 10 different zip codes based on the table that's shown. All right. So again, as always, this can be done in a lot of different ways. All right. But I'm going to grab this information that's right here and I'm going to copy it to the clipboard and I'm going to come down to here. And the only reason that I am doing that is I want to be able to actually use that stuff a little bit later in here. So, all right, so I'm going to make some arrays for that in just a couple minutes. Now, the interface for this, as far as what I remember, is pretty simplistic. All right, it says delivery charge on the top, and there's, let's just write it, okay? All right. All right, so this is it. And the first thing that I want in here is I need a couple labels. So let's make those. All right, and that first label that's there is going to say zip code, and the second one will say delivery charge. All right. Again, like I said, not a very complex interface. And we're going to have here a text box, a button, and another label. All right, so a text box will go right here. Let's just put in 3 buttons so we've got all 3 of ours that we always have in here. That is, we will have the calculate. It'll look a little different than the interface that's shown. And we'll have the clear, and we will have the exit. Let's move this over and this over. And we'll move that up here. That doesn't look too bad. All right. As always, let's go and change the size of everything that's in here. Okay. So the first label that you see right here, in fact, there's another label that goes down here. All right, this first label, let's see. The first label says zip code, so LBL zip code. All right, this will be TXT zip code. As always, these will be our calculate. I don't think that's what they called it, but it's fine. And we will call it calculate. You know the drill by now. Clear and exit. And finally, this one will be LBL delivery charge. So that has to be a little bigger. And this will actually be the delivery charge, which is called LBL charge. All right, with no text on it. All right, so lock the controls. And just because, Grant, you're the only one watching and you said you don't have to real long to be here today, I'm going to skip for right now the exit. All right, I don't think that's that important anyway. All right, you know how that works. So when we exit, we'll just exit the way we always exit, in other words. So that button should be already working, or not button. That should be working. The clear button should be working. So let's just figure out the calculate button here. Okay. As I already mentioned to you, we want to create arrays. I guess I should have done that up higher, but that's fine. All right, we'll put it right up here. Global arrays. And the first one, well, let's put in our constants first. We just have one or two if at the most. Um, all right, constant bracket. That's our constant. That will not be an array. There we go. Okay, so we will have int bracket zips equals new int of size 10. Well, we could actually go in there and put it of size 10. Technically, we don't even need that, so let's just do them here. I'm going to grab all these. I'm going to get a bunch of errors, but we'll fix it literally within minutes. All right. All right, so there's our 10 zip codes. And then we'll have another, and actually this will be a decimal. We'll just call it charges. And now technically, since I did it this way, I don't even need the constant. All right, since I set them up this way, so 20, 12, 25, 15. Twenty, 12, 25, 15, 10, 23, 18. 2017, 12. All right. Again, shouldn't be really anything new that's in there. All right. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to see what was put in here. And as you already know, if there's nothing in there or if it's non-numeric, okay, then in here, basically we'll just print out a message that says that it was bad input. If it's a number, but it's not in our zip code array here, we'll print out a different error. All right. And otherwise we'll print out the delivery charge. So like I said, I don't think that that's a very hard program. So I suppose as long as I'm doing all this too, I should say txt dot focus right there. Okay. I did there, but all right. Well, first of all, if the delivery charge is empty, so we'll do this txt uh, so that should handle that, and then we can return. And again, I said this kind of thing to you before. It's always good, write a little code and test it. So I haven't set up anything. It's not going to be very pretty, but that's still okay. Should fix those errors. All right, so here it is. There's nothing in there at all, and I click calculate, empty zip code. Okay, that's good. And I should probably put the focus back there too. All right, so if I get down to this point, there was something in there. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to attempt, we'll call this zip str, and we'll make an int and we'll call it zip int. All right. So I'm going to attempt then, I'm going to do and I'll need a Boolean for my result. All right. So result equals, and we're going to attempt a parse here. So int 32 dot try parse. What are we parsing? txt zip code dot text. Where are we putting our answer? Well, zip int, as it says right there. Okay. Which again, means it's either going to succeed or it's going to fail. If it fails, so if not result, all right, we'll just grab this code right here, but I will change the message to non-numeric. Okay, and again, we will set the focus. We will first clear it out. We'll set the focus and we'll return. Okay, so it's pretty simple then. Okay, so if we get down to here, to this point right here, result was true, so we put a number in there. So that's good. Okay, well, before we even check anything, let's make it as simple as possible. So if zip int, all right, let's see. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to do it this way. We'll just put a for loop in here. Doesn't matter, we can pick out either one of those. So we're telling it now to loop through 10 times. All right. And if it finds it, so if zip int, yep, if it equals not zip, not charges, but if it equals the zips LCV. So if it finds a match, in other words, in here, well, that's good. All right, then what would we want to say? We want to say, well, the LBL charge dot text is going to be equal to charges LCV dot toString, and we'll make it currency. Plus, if that's the case, we can break. Okay. If we get, let's see, in fact, we don't even have to worry about breaking. We can return right there. If we get all the way down to here, then it hasn't found anything. So we can say LBL charge dot text equal zip code not found, zip not found. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's it. So let's save it and run it and try it. Again, because like I said, you're here and you're good enough to be here, etc. I'm not worrying about setting all this stuff, so I'm going to test it with these. So let's see. So if it is 63101 and I click calculate, $20, that looks correct. If it's 63103, it's $12. Okay. If it's 63105, $25. 63109, $15. I think you get the point. We tested 3 or 4 of them. It looks like it's working. If I leave it blank, okay, if I put something non-numeric in, and finally, if I put in a zip code that's not there, Okay, so everything, as far as I can tell, everything appears to be working. All right, so going over this quickly, we created two global arrays, our arrays of 10 zip codes and our arrays of 10 charges that go along with those zip codes. All right. Then when we click the calculate button, we called calculate delivery charge. And what is this? This literally is what we put into that text box. This is what we hope to convert what was in that text box to as an integer. This is going to be when we attempt to do the conversion, the result. So if it's empty, we give an empty message. Otherwise, we attempt the conversion. If the conversion fails, we do that. So if we get down to here, everything worked. So since everything worked, we have to see if there's a match. So we go through here. If there's a match, we return and we set the label. If we get out all the way down to here, there was no match. So we say zip not found. Now that was very quick. And what I'll do is I will pretty this up a little bit, save it and grab it and take my whole thing and put it out there on, no, I'm not going to because these are homeworks. All right. Any questions on this one, Grant?
No, pretty straightforward.
Okay, good. All right, so there's the first one. So let me do a file save all on here. And let me go to the second one. So I can close this and I can close this. All right, so the second one is this game break. I'm going to set that one as my startup project. Okay. So it says we can search for string.contains and string.lower. That's all fine. But the point is, what we're going to have in here is, again, three different arrays. Each has 5 elements in it. All right. So very similar to what we did before. I will come in here and set up my global arrays. So string, we'll call it game names. I'm going to get errors. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to get string game makers. And finally, we'll do a decimal of game prices. All right, so let's fill these things in. I'm just going to grab all these, even though it's going to be a pain in the butt to play around with that, but that's okay. Okay. So here, green bracket. Game names, okay. All right, there's my first one. Second one, blue hole. Let's do this, maybe this will be faster. I think the next one was Riot Games or something like that. Activision. And finally, the last one was Nintendo. All right, so that one's done. We got to do our prices. 35, 0, 60, 20, 60. All right. I am going to have one global constant in here. All right, so that's the setup for all of that. So let's come back here and quickly look and set up the interface. Right. So this has all been set up. So we need
What was that global constant?
the global constant was GNF for just for game not found, because that's
Oh,
what we're told we should put down if it doesn't find it. So like I said, the interface on here is fairly simplistic. Oops, that's the first one. We don't need that one anymore. So we have a text box, a button, and a big label. Okay. So let's write that quickly. So we will first put in the text box, and that's what we're going to search for. Let's just put in our buttons. So there'll be our search. As always, that'll be our clear and our exit. Okay. And like I said, we want a big label down here. Okay, when we get that big. Okay. There you go. That doesn't look too bad. This is probably going to have to be smaller than 20, I would guess. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to read it. So let me cut that down. Let's make that one about 14. Should be good. Okay. So we'll call this TXT search term. This again will be our button, but we're going to call it BTN search. This will be our clear. And this will be our exit. These are our results. So I'll call that LBL results. All right, so when we come in here, as far as what we write in here when the program begins, let's see. I could actually do this as 3 different labels. I don't know how they did it in here. Let's see. Hard to tell. but we want it to be have the name, the publisher, and the price. Okay, so we'll have to remember that when we get going. All right, I think everything's been renamed. I already renamed the form earlier. Yep, looks like it's all good. All right, so for clearing it, I'm not even gonna go through that. That's pretty simple. We're gonna want to clear this and clear this. So let's just go to the search. We'll call search for game. Okay. So again, if there's nothing in the search term, so if txt search term dot text is equal to nothing, there's no sense in going on. So we'll do a message box dot show. You must enter a term. And again, we should be able to check on that right away. So if there's nothing in here, okay, you must enter a search term. I guess I can reset the focus there, which I should have done anyway, and then return. All right, so let's see. If we get down to here, there's something in there, right? So now it said that we are supposed to be able to search, I think, case insensitive, and you should be able to search partial searches. Okay. And you should be able to search either for the name or for the publisher. All right. So as always, then we'll come in here and we will have a loop. Okay. And we'll want to say, basically, we'll want a big if statement, very similar to the kind we've done before. Now, it's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be checking, all right? We're not going to be checking to see whether or not they're equal because it says we should have a partial search. So it says in there that we should use the string contains. Now, I'm very quickly just going to jump over here. And even though you can't see this, I just want to make sure I'm using the right syntax. That's all. So if, let's see, and I think this will work. If games LCV, no, not that. We want if, we'll come in here, we'll make one more thing. I'm going to say txt search term dot text equal term. All right, don't worry, that's why I'm getting the error. So string term equals, that's what I should have done. All right, just to make it a little easier, then I don't have as much typing to do. So it's term. All right, so if term dot contains, all right, and let's see, we're going through this. If Let's see. Game makers, game names, and game makers are the ones we want to work with here. Okay, I think that that is correct. So what we're saying here is if whatever, if what we just put in there for our search term, once we uppercase it, if any of it is in that particular thing right here, okay, um, then we will want to say show data. And we'll pass in here LCV. We haven't created that yet, so it'll give us an error. Else if, and we want to do the same kind of test, but this time we're going to be checking instead of game makers, we're going to be checking game, what we call that, game publisher. Game makers and game names. Okay, so we already did, that should have been game names. Doesn't really matter when we check first. And this one will be game makers. All right. So that should check through both of them. If we get down to the bottom here, we're going to call this and then we're going to return. We're going to call this again here and we're going to return. So if we get down to the bottom here, right, then we will call display show data. I'm sorry, show data. And we're going to pass in here instead of L. We'll just do it right here. LBL results dot text equals GNF plus a new line plus GNF plus a new line plus GNF. All right, so let's write that show data. All right, so text equals, we'll just, this will look a little nicer than the other one does, but that's okay. So let's see, we've got game names dot LCV, game names LCV plus a blank line, so plus the game maker LCV plus another blank line plus the game prices LCV dot toString currency. And that should be everything from there. Now, the output's going to look ugly. I'll have to pretty it up, but that's no biggie. I've got one too many. It's telling me I've got some errors here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Unreachable code detected right here. 0 to game's length plus LCV. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's try it. Okay, so if I come in here and type in NIN for Nintendo, search, later Battlegon, blue hole, 35, that doesn't look right, because it doesn't say Nintendo. The good news is it's giving me output. I didn't write the clear. So why doesn't it like that? It should be printing out the thing for Nintendo. Well, let's just run through this because the logic is correct in here. So you come in here and you create 3 arrays. All right, an array of game names, an array of game makers, and an array of game prices. All right, first 2 are strings, the last one is a decimal. All right, and then we come in here and the only thing I implemented was the search, which is search for game. If there is nothing in there, all right, then basically that's what we say. You must enter a search term. So that one actually should work if we put nothing in here. You must enter a search term and it puts the focus there. That's good. And it returns. Then we come through here. All right. For int LCV equals 0. This LCV plus plus. It's telling me unreachable code detected. And the reason that it's telling me that is there's a chance, since I'm putting the return statement in here, once it finds it, boom, basically it's never going to reach its end technically. So it's not the best way to code, but I'm doing it quickly and off the top of my head. So if you find a match, call show data, pass in that LCV, all right, and return. Otherwise, if you find it with the game makers, call show data and pass in that LCV. Otherwise, just put in game not found. So if I put in something that where there is nothing, all right, it's not clearing it out. It's giving me that. I don't like the fact that it's giving me that for everything. It should be saying game not found, game not found, game not found. All right. So with the show data, all I want to do, all I have to add onto this is whatever they put here. So they said name, publisher, and price. So I can pretty this up a little bit. So I can say here, name, plus that, publisher, plus that, and finally price plus that. All right, so that'll actually make it look pretty much the way that it's supposed to look. Now, what I really should be doing, let's see. I'm trying to get rid of those unreachable code things that are in there. So show LCV, and rather than return, I'll just quickly, and I know you got to take off, so let me do this quick. Bool found equal false. All right, so we will change this from return to found equal true. And that one to, oops, not there. So we will change that here to found equal true. And we will change that there to found equal true. All right, so if not found, then we want to do this. All right. So it's telling me possible mistaken empty statement in here. I'll come in here and do this. All right, now I'm going to say term equals that. I'm still getting a one, not a mistake, but I'm getting one warning. So very quickly, I'll go through this. You can get the heck out of here if you have to. All right, so there's a string of game names, the 5 game names, a string of the 5 game makers, a string of the 5 game prices. When we search in here, I'm going to assume that we didn't find it. And I'm setting this string term equal to whatever we're searching for. If it's empty, we're giving a message box, setting the focus, and that should be a return right there. All right. And we're returning because there's no sense in going on. So if we get down to here, something was entered. So we're searching here for a match. All right. So if there was a match, okay. And let's see. Term, is that search term? So yeah, that should be right. So if it finds a match, call show data, which will print it out and set found equal to true. Then it checks the game makers. If it finds a match, it's called show data and it sets found equal to true. All right. If it's not found, meaning we didn't find anything, you print that. All right. And that pretty much, at least, that pretty much is it. Questions on that one? You there, Grant? I know you said you had to take off. All right. So that's that one. I'm going to quickly see if I can fix this one. In fact, let me just do this. Let me go back to the first one. 9 o'clock, I'm taking a break. So I'm going to come in here. Let's see, let's just do our thing here fairly quickly. So our accept button will be the calculate. Our cancel button will be the clear. Our start position will be center screen. All right. And we will set our tab order to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't really matter too much. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's do it this way. 4, 5, 6. View the tab order. Calculate's done. Clear is done. I don't think the exit was written, so we'll quickly write the exit. And as always, I will write that by going out here, which you won't see, but all right, so file, save all, and let's run this one. Why didn't it? Oh, it's running the wrong one. I got to go back and change my share to the first one. All right, everything should be working now, at least hopefully. So let's find out what those zip codes were. So 63101 should give me a delivery charge of 20, and it does. Center that in a minute, and then it will be done. Clear works, exit works. So the first one is done. And I will take these And I will align the text to the middle. There we go. The one last thing, so file, save all, just to double check. Now, when I run this, there's nothing in there. It says empty zip code, which it should. If I put in something non-numeric, it says non-numeric zip code, which is good. And if I put in that, it says zip not found. So everything for that one appears to be working. So the first problem is totally finished. All right. So let's jump over to the second one. So let me get rid of delivery charges and delivery charges. All right, so I'm going to jump into the next one here, which is that search for a game by game or publisher. Got this GNF not found. Let's go over to here. There we go. All right, so I think everything has been renamed. It has. So again, let's put in our clear, which will just be txt search term dot text equals nothing. LBL results dot text equals nothing, and txt search term dot focus. All right, and for exit, same junk we had in there before. So file, save all. Oops, gotta change my startup project. So let me close the delivery charge. Okay. All right. So let's run this one. And I'm still not sure why, but when I put in NIN for Nintendo, there it is. Name, publisher, price. Good. And it looks like I can make the text a little bit bigger than that. Let's pretty this up just a tad, and then I'm taking a break. So I should be able to come back now and make this the same size as everything else. So I'm just going to make this 20, not 205. There we go. And this, oh, let's move this over. It's about right. Locked into place. Text box. I'll be centered. My label text. I don't need any in there. And it will be there. And let's see. That actually should be almost everything. So again, let's come in and do our accept button will be BTN search. Our cancel button will be BTN clear. Our start position will be center screen. And let's do our tab border. So that will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice simple interface. Okay. So view tab order again. And finally, when I do this search and I find it and I print it out, I want it to pretty this up just a little bit. So I want this for that game not found. This was terrible, but that's fine. So this will just be name plus game not found plus a blank space plus, what did we say down here? It says publisher. Now I could dink around with this to try to pretty it up and line things up better. I don't really care that much, to be honest with you. And finally, price. All right, I'm going to put 2 backslash n's in here just to try, whoops, to try to make that a little bit prettier. And that'll fix that. And in here, I also want to put in a backslash, another backslash, and here, and here. All right, so when we start looking through here as far as what's here, we'll start with player, and we'll see if we get player, blue hole, and 35. So I'll type play in here. Well, that's wrong, but my output doesn't look terrible. So let's clear that and put nothing in there. We get you must enter a search term. We put garbage in there. That should be saying game not found, so it's not clearing things out. All right, it's 9:02. I'm going to take 5 and then come back, finish this one, and then finally finish up the last program that I said I'd be going over today. Okay. All right, I'm back and I'm going to finish this up. The reason I had that error in there before was for some reason I put a semicolon at the end of my else statement. All right, now that I've removed that semicolon, I have no errors or warnings. So let me take this from the top. Okay. I created a global constant I just called GNF for game not found. All right, I had my global arrays, a string array with the 5 different game names in there, another string array with 5 different game publishers or game makers. All right, and finally another one, a decimal with the game prices. All right, I don't think I have to go over the clear or the exit. So for the search, I just call search for game. And just to keep it easier for myself, I created a local variable called term that was equal to whatever we put into the search term, and a found variable that I set to false. If there was nothing in the term, so in other words, if the text box was empty, it should come up and say you must enter a search term and have a title of no search term inputted, and then set the focus there and return. So when we run this, there's nothing in there. You must enter a search term, no search term inputted, click OK, and there we go. And then it ends. So if we get down to here, there was input. We don't know if it was correct input or not, but there was input. So we should be able to check for a partial or a full game name or a partial or a full game maker. All right, so for game name, let's try battle and see if it gives us Battlefield 4 and Electronic Arts and 20. So let's try that. So I'm going to run it and put battle in there. Again, that's just weird on purpose. Battlefield 4, Electronic Arts, and $20. So that works just fine. All right, let's try another one. But this time, let's try one where we're checking the game maker. Now, if I just put an E in there, it's going to find Bluehole. Okay? And actually, it'll find it from right here. So if I just check for an E. So I'm going to type in here and just put in hole. I don't know. That's fine. And we'll see if it gives us all that stuff. So hole. And it says it has in here then. That should be the first one. So it should be player unknown battlegrounds, etc. Bluehole. And the price should be 35. All right. If I put in something that doesn't exist, hello, and I click search, I get game not found, game not found, game not found. So again, everything that's in there appears to work. So we set up our 3 arrays, and in here again, we say if there's nothing in here, we give an error message and we return. So if we get down to here, there was something in there. So what we want to do is we want to know if the array, that particular array element in uppercase, contains any portion of what was in that search term. And if it does, we call show data and we pass it that loop control variable. So we need to know which one to print out. We set found equal to true. If that's not true, then we check the game maker for the same kind of check. If it finds it in there, again, we call show data and we set found equal to true. If we get all the way through there and found wasn't, in other words, this didn't match and this didn't match and it went all the way through, that means that this is going to kick in. So we just write name, game not found, publisher, game not found, price, game not found. And for our show data, basically all we did was we set up the label text. Again, I could pretty this up quite a bit. It looks fine the way that it is. All right, our clear is pretty much what you'd expect it to be. All right, and our exit is pretty much what you'd expect it to be. Okay, so let's see. So there's one more left here that I said I would do today. So let me close this. And that probably will be the hardest one because I don't remember how to do this, but we'll look it up. So write a GUI app that sorts all of the words in a phrase entered by the user. Create a method named sort words that accepts a parameter array for the unsorted words and returns an array with the sorted words. You may want to look up string split for this. Okay, but before we do that, let's first think about, all right, they talk about in here, they mention uh, a parameter array. So what is that? Let's look first and see what that is. All right, so I'm going to come in here and change my share, go back to the internet and type in what is a C# parameter array. All right, well, they got formal parameters. What is a parameter array? There we go. A parameter array can be used to pass an array of arguments to a procedure. You don't have to know the number of elements when you define the procedure. You use the param array keyword to denote it. All right, so let's look at that. And I'm going to check in here for C# param array. And well, there's Microsoft, so that looks like it'd be probably a, well, let's try the tutorials point and see what's in there. Yeah, let's try that one. By using the params keyword, you can specify a parameter that takes a variable number of arguments. In this case, it'll be our array. So I'm going to grab this just so I've got some kind of an idea of what to do here. Okay, so let me change my share and go back to the program. All right, and I'm just going to put this in here again into a comment. Just so I can see it, just so I've got something there. Okay, all right, so my interface, let's see. We've got a big text box, our buttons, and a big label. So let's put this in here. Move this over. So we're going to have a big text box. That is a big text box. All right, we're going to have our three buttons. And our big label. But it is. Okay, that looks like our interface to me. Again, I'm going to change the size. All right. And so this will be txt phrase. This will be our search, not our search. This is called, I don't know what it's called because I misspelled something in there. So let's see. Sorted phrase. But I didn't write sorted phrase in here. I think I wrote dorded phrase. So sorted phrase. Yeah, that's better. All right. So this will be txt phrase to sort. This, as we always do. In fact, let's do this. Into place. This will be btn sort. And we'll just call it sort. This will be btn clear. And this will be btn exit. And finally, this will be, I don't want any text in there right now, but this is going to be LBL sorted phrase. All right, I believe I have renamed everything. Looks like it. All right, so that'll be my sort, and I'll call sort the words, which will give me an error because, of course, it hasn't been written yet. So let's just come down here and put in private void sort the words. All right. And then down here, now when I click clear, I should just clear this, and put the focus there. So those 3 lines. So we'll call it clear and set focus. I may not have done that last time. I may have put the code in there inline. Stupid me, but private void clear and set focus. And that'll be txt phrase to sort dot text equals double quote LBL sorted phrase dot text equals double quote and txt phrase dot focus. Don't like that capital O there, so I'm going to fix that, and it should fix it down here in the code automatically. Check. Fixed it there. And it also fixed it there. So that's good. So that's done. Let's quickly do the exit. And we'll call it exit program or not. And I will grab the exit code, that in there. All right, so if I do come in here, this is the last program. Yeah, I still have to set all that stuff, but it's no biggie. So if I come in here and put in some garbage, clear, it clears it, sets the focuses there, exit, no, exit, yes. Okay, so those are both working. All right, just because I'm anal about this, I'm going to come up to here and I'm going to set my text align to center. And in here, I'm going to set my text align to the middle. Okay, all of that is now done. So let's come in here and set the stuff we usually set. What do I mean? Well, I'm going to click here and I will set my accept button to BTN sort. I will set my cancel button to BTN clear, and I will set my start position to center screen. Fix that. Then I'm going to click over here and do my view tab order. And I will set it to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so save all. Okay. Now, I think what Mr. Smith was alluding to here was everything that we put in here, we're going to throw into a string array. All right. And well, actually, we're going to throw that into a string. And then we're going to use the split method to break it up. So let's see if we can do that to begin with. So under sort the words, I'm going to say string words equals txt phrase to sort dot text. It's just so I don't have to keep typing that all the time. Okay. All right. And we're going to say string bracket word str equal words dot split, and we're going to split it based on a blank space. That, I think that split has to be a capital S. Okay. So let's see. Let's just see if what we did so far works, because then there's not much more to do. So we've split that. So let's do a I'm going to get rid of this in a minute, but I'm going to do a string temp equals nothing. And I'm going to say for int LCV equals 0. LCV is less than word string dot length plus LCV plus plus. And I'm going to say string, oops, call it temp str. Temp str plus equals word str LCV plus, and we'll put a blank line. All right, then when we're all done, we'll just do a message box and we'll print that out. And this is not an error, so for the icon, I'll just say information. All right, well, let's see if that works. And I always remember, what was it? When my brother told me how to spell arithmetic, a rat in the house may eat the ice cream. Click sort. Okay, I've got a rat in the, so it split them. So that's good. So then all I have to do is run sort on that. Okay. All right, so let's make another string in here that we'll call rev str. Again, we'll set that equal to nothing. And let's see. Here I'm just going to say rev str. That's not good. I don't want that to be a string though, do I? So let's see. We don't need, we want this, we want to be sort str. Okay, so sort str equals word str dot sort. And actually, we don't do it like that. We say array dot sort. We pass it in word str. Unlike something, so we'll see if we can figure out what it is. Cannot convert type void to string. So this should have been a. Not doing this the way that Mr. Smith had talked about doing it. I did split it, which worked fine. So I've now got an array with the word split in there. I don't need a reverse string anymore. All right, so that split them. This is cannot implicitly convert type void to a string array. I'm going to make that 1,000. Wonder if that's going to fix it. No. So that had the words and they were split. So I think what I'll do, I've got this temp string, so let me look at this. I'm going to comment this line out. And let's run the program. Here we go. Now is the time for all good people to come to the aid of their party. Okay, I do have all that, so that's working well. Okay, and the words are, I need a backslash in there, and that'll fix that. All right, so I've got all that, and that is inside of temp string. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do something here. So I want to say that this is equal to temp string dot split. And that should split that into an array. And I do an array dot sort on this. Wow. No, maybe I can't. Cannot implicitly convert type void to string. Same kind of thing. I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try it like this. Fires. The only thing I've got left to do is to figure out this one doggone thing. You know, sort. I want to take temp string and I want to split it. And I want to do a split. I want to do a join. There we go. And I want to join it. I think that's got to be a okay like that. So word str was this. Was the word split? So I maybe can redo word str. I know exactly what I want to do. It's just I can't figure out how to do it right now. So let's see. I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to bring it down here. Now it still isn't going to like it, but that's fine. So let's see. So I've come in here. I call sort the words. And whatever I put into that text box becomes words. All right. And I'm saying what I want to do here is I want to split. And what split should do is that should create an array of each one of those. So words dot split. that up there. All right, it doesn't like the dot split here. Oh, I'm just doing this. Hmm, why isn't this working the way I think it should work? Oh, that was okay. That should be bracket. Still doesn't like that. No, can I make that null? Well, this is working. I've written this before, which is kind of funny. Make sure that that is still working, and it should be. So that's working. And I think that it's the parameter array that's doing this. So and when we use that arms, it's going to be Mhm. Might get the same error, but son of a gun. So I'm passing in a string, but it's telling me it cannot convert type void to a string array. Does this help? was not a problem splitting it. So we want to call that, we want to pass in word str. That should be okay. So everything that's in there works. Now, when we come in here, this probably won't work either. So the source array, destination array, so words, sorted words, and we need to give it a size. Words dot length. My goodness. Well, that's not any errors, so let's try this again. So sorted words. Right, so we now should be able to say array dot sort of sorted words. And then txt, not txt. Let's make another string in here. That's equal to nothing. So I'm going to say for int LCV equals 0. LCV is less than sorted words dot length, LCV plus plus, str plus equals sorted words LCV plus just a blank space. And then finally, LBL sorted phrase dot text equals str. Let's see if that works. So now is the time for all good people to come to the aid their party. Those all of them. Value cannot be null. I don't think. It's great because it showed me a runtime error. Let's see if I got that. Try that. Now it's giving me an error again. Use of unassigned local variable sorted words. So it's saying it can't be null. don't know if it'll take that or not, so let's try that. A rat in the house may eat the ice cream. We got it. All right, so let's go back and look at everything we've done. Took a lot longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. All right, I didn't need this at all. So the interface was very simplistic, 3 buttons. The exit is our exit button. All right, the clear is our clear and set focus. So all we wanted to do when we cleared was clear, clear, set the focus. All right, so what was left in here was the sort. So we click that and we call sort the words. And what is this doing? Well, it's words is now equal to whatever we put into the text box. This is just a temporary string that we're making. And this was words, so this was all of them. And here we are splitting them based on the blank space. And what that is doing is word str now holds an array. So if I put in there goodbye cruel world, then goodbye is word str sub 0. Cruel is word str sub 1, and world would be str sub 2, or word str sub 2. Then we go through this and we create this temporary string. All right, and I didn't even really need to do this. All right, this should still work even if I comment all of this out, but we'll find out. Hello there. How are you today? I'm fine. Thank you. And you can see it is in alphabetic order. All right, so we exit. Let's get rid of all this because we don't need it. So what are we doing here? We don't even need this anymore. All right, so what are we doing? We are calling sort the words. This is literally, we don't even need this line. If I wanted to, I could take that and put it here and cut it down even more. All right. Stop text. Dot split. All right. So this says take whatever we put into that text box and split it, which will create an array. All right, but split it based on wherever we've got a blank space. So word str is now this array. Then we call print out or print sorted word array. We pass it in that word string or word, whatever we want to call it. Let's call it word ARR for array. And we'll make this ARR as well, or we'll get an error. All right. So then we come into here, and this is not really a long routine. Print sorted word array. Now, this is how many words do we want? I'm just going to put in here 500, not 50, 90, 500, which is a lot bigger than what we ever need. All right. So this str that you see right here, this thing, okay, all that that's doing is it's going to print out every word that we're putting into the label, followed by a blank space. All right. So that's what this is. This is what we want to be able to put the sorted word string into. So we copy from words to sorted words, and we do it for the entire length of what was in words, which is what we passed in. Then we run an array.sort on that. So we now have, all right, if we print it out right here, the array that would be there, but we want to print it out inside of the label. And in that label, we want each word to have a blank space between it. And then finally, got that. So if you do want to copy this, okay, because I put in the comments. So in my sort routine, I called sort the words. In my sort the words, I split whatever was in the text box and I made it into an array based on everywhere we had a blank space. Then I called print sorted word array and I passed that array into it. Then in our print sorted word array, I created two new variables, one a string, which was initialized to the empty string, and one a string array, which is just going to hold 500 blank strings. I don't think we're going to type in more than 500 words. 50 would have probably been sufficient. All right. Then we're copying over everything from the words array, which is again what we passed in, to this sorted words. And we want it to be the length or how many elements we had in words. Then we sort that sorted words, and then we print it out. We basically set up a string where we've got each element followed by a blank space, and then we set the label to that. Okay, this probably could be refined even more, but it's pretty short. 90 lines. Okay, and 90 lines, and look, I mean, really 70 lines, because all the junk in here, they're just comments anyway. We don't need that. So I'm going to try it one more time. It'll even work if we put nothing in there. Nothing to print out, but it still worked. So let's clear it, run it one more time. I'm going to put in exactly what you see down here. So you may want to look up the string dot split method for this lab. Okay. And that did work. I guess I shouldn't center this and I can make that text bigger if I want to. All right. And that's everything. Let's fix that. So we're going to take this and make it left justified. Center left. And we will make the text that goes in there, we'll make it bigger just so it really stands out. .36 is probably too big, but that's okay. Let's run it one more time and put it in again. Interesting. It's not giving me anything now. Clear works, exit works. I goofed something up when I just did that, so what did I do here? Text align middle left. Visible is true. I don't know what I did. Oh, I screwed up something in the sort button. Sort the words. Split. All that. Well, pretty obvious. Whatever I screwed up in here. I've turned something off. So something that was probably true, I made false in here. It has to be right near here. Text. Well, you saw it working, so I'm not sure what the problem is. There it is. There it worked. Huh. Yeah, it works. I don't know what's going on, but something is. So that is it. And I am done for the day.